or whatever the pipes, the intertubes. Hey, looks like we have the wrong overlay and everything. This is a fun week, guys.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Woo!
What a disaster.
Once again.
What would live be without, all sorts of technical quirks?
Yeah. How dare I leaf blow my yard?
Who blows leaves this time of year?
Indeed.
Haven't you considered just leaving them where they fall?
Get off this boat.
I would have laughed, but I was busy sneezing. That was brilliant.
Perfect timing.
You're allowed. I'll forgive you this once.
Well, this is the duplicate episode about the fan festival in London. Apparently. That's on me, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Learning to use new stuff is always fun.
Ugh.
In other news, Foul, why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened to you recently?
Oh, yeah, so that's been part of the journey today. I was trying to troubleshoot some problems with some new equipment I had purchased because I'm trying to get into voiceover. So I've got accounts with ACX, voices.com, Fiverr, and Upwork, and I'm just kind of seeing what I can finagle. I actually have submitted 2 auditions. Of course, they say do 50 plus before you expect any hits, so don't bring out the champagne yet, but I am moving some pieces around in my life to try to do something aside from the day job. So that's exciting for me. That was not a canned speech. That's genuine passion. Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You have a radio voice.
Well,
You do.
apparently with a lot of popping.
Well, not anymore, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So I think the thing I bought is defective. When I turned the volume knob last night listening to it, it was like there was electronic interference on the line. That's gone now, but now when I speak on that device, you guys, it sounds like shit apparently, and my volume's really low. Doesn't make sense to me because I've recorded easily recorded 30 minutes of content, and the recording sounds good, but what the fuck?
Maybe it's specifically with Discord that it's getting cranky. Could also
be.
just be as simple as a setting in Discord.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Looks like Rug has joined us today. Welcome.
Welcome.
So I'll be fixing the overlay while we're here, but the purpose of today's episode is actually to discuss the third Aglaya raid, Thaleia. We had the opportunity to day one play through this with Pyromancer and all of his all of the rest of the streamer network. That was really fun. Was that Ayumi? No, that was it was Arden, me, and Neela.
Yeah, I was at work at the time. I would have joined, but
How
I missed it by maybe a half hour, 45 minutes.
It was super duper
Same.
fun. I'm trying to recapture the experience I had that day, because that's part of what we wanted to talk about, is the first time running it. I mean, now it's been about a month. We've probably all run it 15 times, and
Yep.
it's not as fresh or as fun. But that first day
No,
was
I still
really...
remember my first time.
Well, let's talk about it.
Who wants to go first?
Derek's a piece of shit.
Derek, you motherfucker.
Yes, how dare you steal Ardbird's voice?
So this is the first thing I want to mention about Derek. Obvious from the get-go. What? How did they make this so obvious? With even the first time we met him here.
I think that's what pissed me off more than anything, was just how obvious it was.
Yeah.
And then he was like at the end, by the way,
By the
here's
way,
something you already know.
in case you didn't know.
Right.
They gave us the Oppo up auction anyway.
Yeah.
I was so fucking
Also-
mad when he left it behind. I was fucking livid.
I was like, you fucker.
Me too.
He didn't wanna.
Yeah, it's like, it's your problem now.
But he still almost did.
He loves you. I don't care.
I think it was a very powerful moment because he sort of went from I'm a god and I have to care about all the people to, you know what, fuck this whole god thing, chuck it, I'm going to explore Eorzea with my Oppo.
I just want to
I think
be
it was
a
a real
dude.
good growth moment.
I want to be a dude.
Exactly. Don't
Not to
always
be
have to kill
confused
God.
with the
You
dude.
Just ungod yourself.
Just
Listen,
ungod
we still
yourself.
haven't found We still haven't found our dude yet. He's somewhere out there. Hamlerud is still out there somewhere, tending to his plants.
The dude.
True.
Got his milkahol.
He's still going around asking about his rug.
I'm just imagining we go to the new world and Helmer it's just there selling edibles.
Nice.
Ah,
He's
hope so.
just in a vacation shirt and sunglasses.
Oh, I love it.
Hey, man.
I'll be right back. Keep talking.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man. The true Asian agenda.
Yeah, the true Asian agenda.
true.
Forget Asahi. He's the real party animal.
I guess on the topic of Thaleia, how satisfied are all y'all with Myths of the Realm as a whole after now having played the conclusion?
I'm satisfied in that I finally get the lore behind the 12 that I wanted and needed. And instead of speculating who and what they are, what they did for Heidelin and or Vana,
Where they came from, what they are.
yeah, I get actual details on who they were. Plus, I got to speak with my patron, although they didn't say Helone didn't say much, so I was kind of hoping there would be more unique dialogue. But I'm satisfied.
You speak to Halone with your fists. We know.
That's true.
Yes.
As another Haloni worshiper, that's correct. She says, we already talked.
Well,
what
that
do you
conversation
want?
I didn't consider canon anyways, because I don't consider my Ayumi to be the wall anyways. But I still
Yeah, that's
liked
fair.
to have that conversation with.
Oh, yeah. I did like getting the lore. I like them having some plan or whatever behind it. I won't claim I was happy with every single decision. I think my biggest complaint is that, like, I forget where, I think I saw on Twitter someone saying something about, like, oh, these gods are created and shaped by the myths of people, and that's why they're all attractive white people. And it's like, other than that, though, I think it was pretty good. I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. That's, like, my major complaint. They're all very, like, sort of samey look. And Thaliak should have been old. Don't at me. He looks like a Genshin character. Otherwise, though,
Yeah,
really
Thaleia
does.
should have been old.
he looks like a fucking Genshin character. I'm so sorry, but it's true.
Yeah, I gotta say with Thaliak, I'm very disappointed they didn't go with his card design.
Yeah.
Like,
By the
all
way-
you
I'm a
get
little
is a
torn on
shoulder
that
shawl and a
because-
loincloth, and you have to carry a giant urn.
I'm a little torn on it because I know that my partner is a little excited that Thaliak is like very like Chinese looking,
Yeah.
like Chinese themed.
Oh, that's
and
fine.
dress and
It's just
stuff,
like
and-
I am not the target audience in this case.
yeah,
Right.
he's
No, it's
very,
not-
he's
shouldn't
very
exist.
Xianxia looking.
Which is nice. I just did not perceive that for Thaliak
And
specifically.
Thaliak's voice actor
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
is a fan of Final Fantasy 14 and is actually a player of 14 and has been
Nice.
since 2011 or 13.
That's
He's been
awesome.
playing for a long time now, and he was contacted to do the voice.
Very cool.
He's been posting on his social media
So-
little pictures of him and Thaliak and him and doing both the raids and doing content.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I thought it was a certain voice actor from Final Fantasy 16.
No, he does other stuff in other mobile games. I can't remember which one.
That's why he looks like a Genshin character. There you go.
Hey.
he did a voice in another
Oh,
mobile
makes
game,
sense
but
now.
he's been doing he's been giving pictures of him in 14 for a while now. Let me find his profile.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this the English voice actor or the Japanese voice actor?
The English voice actor.
Oh, cool.
This game doesn't have Japanese voice actors. What are you talking about?
So, what was everyone's favorite encounter in the raid?
Lim Lane.
Yeah, that was really fun. Holy crap.
Just because I didn't expect to like her so much.
I think Limlane as well for me.
All right, I'm posting his Twitter in chat.
Okay.
Go follow him. He's cool. The last picture he did was him at All Saints Day popping a bottle of champagne.
Nice.
Nice.
I think I don't want to get on the bandwagon, but I guess I have to. I think Limlane might have been the most fun. I don't know if I like it the most. It's weird. It's like I really love, I think what I said when we got to that encounter was where is Thrall, because there's a giant vortex in the sea, and I was thinking about the maelstrom in World of Warcraft. Was that Cataclysm? Anyway, it's really stupid. But I love that the water opens up and she pushes you back and you have to run in, and I like that there's like half arena AoEs going off and things like that. It's really fun.
Did you hear about the blow kiss thing?
No.
I did.
It's
Apparently,
amazing.
if you blow her a kiss mid-fight, she stomps on you.
No.
Heavy damage.
Amazing.
Special attack for you.
No
Yep.
way.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
Yep.
the reaction.
She says, Limlayan says if he breathes, he's a simp. Or she or they, doesn't matter. Equal opportunity stab.
That's funny. That's really funny. I don't think they've done anything like that before, have they?
No.
Weird Easter egg.
Nothing beyond things like soothing to remove
No,
the
the devs
gremlins,
saw
like
the
debuff and
thirst in the
stuff.
14 community and was like, okay, stop it, you guys.
I couldn't possibly miss it.
They knew their audience.
I don't think
Can't
that's how
complain.
you stop the thirst in the 14 community.
Oh, I'm
Just
sure.
saying.
I'm sure they're aware.
No, you put an anti-cheat software.
That's funny.
My favorite fight. Hard to say. I'm biased because I like Halone, but would that be like the most fun fight?
Yeah, exactly. I think I really like Derek, to be honest.
I do too, but I mean, of the third raid, I felt like the third raid is kind of the easiest out of all of them. So
It is.
Yeah, which just felt unusual to me. I'm used to things like Void, not Void Arca, sorry, brain fart.
No worries.
Yeah, done Scathe
Orgone
being like come out of nowhere and just like
oh yeah, that
sucker
too.
punch.
I
just remember
I don't really have
that
one
first boss.
single fight that I'd place over all of the others. They were all pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't really pick one out that would be the best. They were all pretty fun in their own right. And really the only thing that would kind of separate them out to in a way would be just the Halone fight being the one I was most looking forward to, and it didn't let me down.
Yeah, I liked Ashan because
job,
of
Halone.
the I don't know, maybe it's the old bard in me, but even though like obvious refulgent arrow attacks and stuff like that, but I liked the corners mechanic a lot. The music's pretty hype. I don't know how I feel about super giant mode or not. I think I like it, but it was kind of weird to see our boy all big like that. Can they all do that? You know?
Probably.
See, that's the thing. You like something, and then someone else doesn't like what you like, and you start an internet war.
I hate that.
That's just how it goes nowadays, though.
Good and evil, war eternal.
It was a good fight. All right, so let's go on to the story a bit. The story. We went back to the Omphalos again for the third time, and we talked a bit, and then we were greeted by Limlane and Thaleia, and then suddenly Derek says, "Oh, by the way, poof, I'm actually Ashan."
What?
No
You
way.
baited.
No way. You've only been talking about how you had to leave soon for 8 months.
I will say, I mean, I'm assuming the obviousness of the reveal is intended so that people who are not paying close attention will still pick up or at least get the feeling, but it did feel very obvious.
Wow,
Still
you guys are
funny,
really
though.
paying attention.
Hmm?
You guys are really paying attention.
So they then invite us to another scrap
Mm-hmm.
in their domains. As I think I'll call them domains because that's exactly what they are. They're the heavens of ice,
Yeah.
heavens of earth, so on and so forth. So 3 fights, 1 each, and then we get brought back out into the Omphalos, and then we kind of ascend this heavenly stairway where they all kind of fuse into one. That was wild.
That was wild. Reminded me a lot of Eden, design-wise.
It was a very
remind-
busy model,
Meaning
I will
E12.
say.
It was very busy.
Like the
It was
boss.
like, here's a pop quiz. Hope you were paying attention. Interestingly, it reminded me of ideas I'd kicked around for like an Ascian ultimate, where you pull out all the Ascians and have them spin the mask and do an attack, you know?
I totally thought you were going to say like some middle school drawing where you like take parts of like every edgy picture that you've ever seen and
Mhm.
like put it
Okay,
all into
but, like,
one.
Seriously, though, who is of my age cohort enough to remember, and I'm blanking on the name from, but you looked through these little glasses and you clicked a thing and it would switch the disc around and it had little tiny pictures and it magnified.
Yeah, I remember that.
What the fuck is it called? That.
I had
Fuck.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that
Little
thing.
carousel thing, and they were like little discs with different like
Like the
slides.
Disney ones, yeah. Yep. Been a while since I thought about those things.
Same.
Anyway, kind of reminds me of the like the you click through and like, oh, we'll switch to this one now, switch to that one. It was cool, don't get me wrong. Like I don't mean that as a condemnation.
Viewmasters, that's what they were called.
Viewmaster, yeah. Holy shit, I forgot about those things.
AC Gears and Arms says Eulogia is a massive nightmare for cosplayers without intricate the headpiece and cloth and floating things on their back.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what?
The final boss of the
Oh, yeah, that was just a giant fuck you.
That was a test of the cosplayer's reflexes is all that was.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Oh boy.
It was a fun raid, though. I did enjoy it. I do feel like we got kind of robbed on the Heaven of Water.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I was the only one with one boss. Even
Oh,
though
that's fair.
Limlane was technically in a water place, but is wind.
Yeah. Huh.
They don't exactly have a heaven of air, though. And a lot of the domains are kind of like dual aspected, too, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
Because when we went to the heaven of fire, the only one there that really kind of was prominently fire-based was Azema. And if we went and looked at Naldal, the only real fire attack he had was the kind of like dual element flames. But that's it.
Yep.
So just taking a look at and lightning, the heaven of lightning. Now, Birgo, which is actually how you really say his name.
Byregot.
Birgo.
Byregot.
Birgo.
Byregot.
Beer gut?
Birgo.
Beer gut.
No, that's actually
Slams
how you
my
say his
gavel
name.
down. It's now beer gut. Sorry,
I'm
we
not
have
doing
now
that
changed
ever.
Beer
it.
gut.
Sorry.
Whatever.
gut.
He didn't use any.
Sorry.
He didn't use any lightning except for like 1 or 2 attacks, whereas Ralger used several. So that's what I mean by like dual aspected
Yep.
domains.
Thank you. His name is now Beer Bro in my head, thanks to you.
That's great.
Amazing.
So where's that reference from, Ayumi? That is the canonical.
I'll find it for you.
While we're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Do a dance.
AC says, I feel their elemental aspects and secondary elements are secondary elements to their main powers and authorities. Well, I suppose.
Damn it, it took me away. Here we go.
And I'm good
Although
with
until
that
this
as
raid
long as
series-
it's like on
ahead.
the elemental wheel.
Right.
Which water and wind are actually on the elemental wheel together, so yeah.
Kind of interesting, yeah.
Actually, no, sorry, they're not.
Post it in chat.
It's ice and wind.
Uh-huh.
Water and wind are just next to each other.
They're roommates.
Yes, equal but opposite roommates. Like physics.
The Japanese translation doesn't include the T at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have the hard T that we usually give it.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have given it the, if it was the Japanese translation would have given it the Birgotto
Yeah, true.
instead of Birgo.
Makes sense.
Where's the
Out here learning.
I don't see the chat. Where'd it go?
Well, that's because katakana is used for foreign names. Foreign names, foreign objects.
Where did the beer go?
Asking the real questions.
See, this is what happens when I bring a subject of interest into the chat.
Well, now
Everyone
we're totally
stops the
derailed.
episode and looks.
How do you pronounce
tries
the
to
rest of them?
check.
We need the katakana for every name now.
I mean, it's just a search away.
Yep.
I just thought this one was interesting because everyone was saying it one way, and I'm like, okay, let's look up some
Yeah, who would
Mists
have
of the
thought
Realm
that it was
information after
actually
I'm
beer
done.
gut?
Yumi comes in. You're wrong.
See, the
Actually-
instant I tell the 14 community they're wrong, they're all gonna jump down my throat.
I mean, anybody doing actually is expecting a fight.
This
That's
time
why. That's why you come in like, isn't it interesting? I just
that's
learned
why you
this.
gather the receipts and then come
The
at them
more
like
you
a
know.
Karen.
I like to speak to your manager. It's actually pronounced beer gut.
Yeah, these are on sale 2 for $3 instead of 2 for $5.
This is not right.
I don't have the.
I was
for it.
promised all 12 of the 12, and only 11 of them left.
12 special. I got the 12 for 1 special at the end.
True. Yes, we did.
Who else was worried that we were gonna have to fight the Watcher and then be sad about it?
Haha, I
Me.
was a little
I was
bit,
ready
actually.
to cause another calamity. Hell yeah.
I was going to say, you expect me to be sad about O.
Yeah, I thought there'd at least be something, but it was just another talkie. Well, I'm still watching. Guys just hanging out.
Still holding these binoculars.
Mm-hmm. You know, discussing the thing we did earlier about souls in chat.
Yes,
whether
please,
the
let's go
12
back to
have
that.
souls. It was brought up in chat asking whether or not the 12 have souls, and I put in that it's almost irrelevant in Endwalker's storytelling because everything that doesn't have a soul still behaves like it has one. But the Watcher, you know, looks like a construct from like the Shades of Amarat and behaves a little differently, but nevertheless, it's a question we should probably consider answering. Do you have any thoughts on this?
The more I get into media that uses souls, and especially uses them in a mechanical way, the less I like it. It's just...
Yeah.
Too often it's like soul equals person, not soul equals not person. I'm like, okay, this is a construct of memories with personality and knows what it was. Why does the soul matter? Why is this like...
Yeah.
I'm just ready to throw it out at this point, honestly.
See, I'm the
I feel like
opposite. I'm like, if a soul is eternal and, you know, the person maintains who they are through the soul and not, you know, the physical form, then why does life matter?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the other side of it. I agreed.
So, following the raid, we kind of see the 12 just kind of go off and they say, well, our purpose has been fulfilled, so why don't we depart and wish the star well and with its new denizens, and we'll fade and wish us luck, basically. So everyone just kind of disappears except for Ashan, who hears the cry of a monkey and turns back around.
As he should. No abandoning Fwind.
So then he comes back out and is like, I decided to stay a little bit longer. I want to see what this world has to offer. Bad and good alike. So we go wandering for a bit. We take him to the Sanctum of the 12, and he goes over a few bits of information that just became... Al-Kaios. Became the basis for Elphic. The quest line in Elpis actually has you helping her, and she asks you what we do when we offer flowers for a grave and what we call them. We give them the name Nymea Lilies, and that's where her name comes from. So we actually named one of the gods.
We fucking bootstrapped it. I don't like that part,
Yeah.
but I did like those two turning out to be what some of us had speculated about, though. That felt like a good moment.
Agreed.
So that's another example of don't mess with time.
Right.
Limlane. Limlane was created from an ancient who researched sea life at Metabasos Stellasi in Elpis. Her passion for her work once led to throwing a knife at someone who came too close to her observation subject.
Hot.
She was a marine biologist. Ashan. Ashan was created from an ancient who met Vana in the wilderness. As fellow travelers, they shared a campfire and discussed what it meant to be free. Birgo. Birgo was created from an ancient who served a supervisory role at the Bureau of the Architect. He was gifted the ability to create inanimate objects such as buildings and furnishings. Rogger.
Also, I thought it was hilarious that he also pretty much did Hythlodaeus' job for him.
Pretty much. Rogger was created from an ancient who encountered and befriended Vana on her travels and joined forces with her to destroy a meteor hurtling towards the star, but couldn't stop a flurry of them during the final days. Azema. Azema was created from an ancient who was a judicial officer at the Bureau of the Administrator. She is a proponent of the seat of Azem and aspired to train under Vana and her successor, likely inspiring her name. Naldal. Naldal was created from an ancient who was a merchant by trade. His outward gregarious yet reserved personality influenced his dual aspects. He was bipolar. Nafika. Nafika was created from an ancient who was a renowned landscape architect. She nurtured plants without relying on magic, and those who visited her garden were said to have had their souls salved. Althic. Althic was created from the ancient Alkaios, who was a researcher with mastery over time magics and an observer of creations in Elpis. Alkaios' sister, Myra, became the basis for Nymea. If I remember correctly, Alkaios was one of the researchers who worked on Pyros.
That sounds correct. I believe so, yeah.
Because of his mastery over time magics. And finally, the Unnamed God. The 13th unnamed deity is only described in the last line of the Omphalos monument. He's the Watcher in Mare Lamentorum. Watcher was created from the ancient who was the chief archivist at the Anamnesis Anteater. His friendship and devotion to Vana made him the most suitable for this solitary duty. We could possibly still just kind of question the Watcher about his... I don't know. There's a lot of questions I still have for the Watcher. Since he remains the only real living tie to the ancient world that we have. Unless we, of course, decide to go back through the supposedly open portal. I don't know.
I'm actually really surprised they didn't just do away with the Watcher in this. It would have been a good opportunity to, and I get that it would have made me really sad. But
sometimes you want to feel really sad.
Yeah, but I think it's really odd that the Watcher is still around, even because the Watcher
I do
doesn't
agree.
have a purpose at this point.
No, in 2 or 3 expansions, he'll become relevant again.
So I have a little bit of a beef with some of this, and it's time related, and you guys just reminded me of this. When we leave Elpis, the whole dialogue with Vana says that your time here is ending, and we don't have any choice in the matter. We walk into the room and we get ported back.
Yep.
Then we canonically come back later because we have to do Pandemonium or not, or do it or not, right?
Yep.
But
we leave the door open, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, the true timeline is us doing Pandemonium, if you ask me. But we also have Elidibus saying he doesn't remember us, or he does remember us. So it's open for those of us who don't like to do raids at all. So, but regardless, I mean, I guess that portal's open.
Yep. And then it's another one of those annoying
things. Your time
things.
here is ending, right?
It's another one of those annoying things where it's like,
Which
up to your interpretation.
Yeah, interpret it. Have fun.
You ask them you can ask them anything at the Q&A. You can ask them anything at the convention face to face. You'll get the same answer.
So Rug says they committed to keeping Watcher alive because he is part of Ishikawa's side content with Omega. Disposing of him would cause a conflict.
That's true. I had forgotten about that, actually. It's a good
Yeah.
point.
I
They
don't
haven't. They
agree
haven't.
though.
Yeah.
Because that happens. I mean, if you look at the patch cycle, it's clear when that occurs, and it's clear when this occurs. So, I mean, you wouldn't have to delete him from the physical game, but you could have a narrative where
In other words, you can have something happen to him in the MSQ and then revisit it later in the side content with a little footnote saying, "Oh yeah, the Watcher had this happen," or "The Watcher is gone now." Blah blah blah.
I mean, he's needed for the quest. You can't delete him from the game. I'm not asking for a deletion.
This is why Final Fantasy needs phased content.
That's right.
Whereas, like, if something major or something minor happens, you are in that next phase of the world where you can't return back. Or if someone is doing something, like, say, they still see the Watcher, but you don't because you are on another part of the quest line.
Right.
Yeah.
They have that, though. They've been doing that since Stormblood. They're
They
just
have
not
been.
using it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, instancing or whatever.
And it's one of those things that other games take advantage of, and it's a more seamless transition in story than it is here.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates
Agreed.
inconsistencies which are glaringly obvious today. So I'm just surprised that they didn't put that to use instead of just trying to use it to settle down player population.
Yeah. It would be nice to see it, yeah.
But yeah, going back to Thaleia. Let's see, what else? What did everyone think of their patron deity answers when you got to talk to them? Were you satisfied with it?
That I wish they had another patron deity and could change it.
Why?
Fantasiaing just to get a different patron deity.
I've known a few people to do that.
I have too, and I think that's legitimate.
I've intended to Fantasia
It's
to
also
do it.
funny.
Like, I've already consumed
Everyone didn't like their answer?
Well,
I liked mine fine because mine's Haloni. I thought that was fine. You know, I wasn't expecting a whole lot, and I was just like, oh, it's a nice little nod.
I mean, no less than what I expected from one of my own, and then, you know, a slight nod gesture, and that's it. I did expect more, but it was enough. I'll take it. I don't know what everyone else thought though, because so many people like so many different patron deities that I just wanted to kind of hear the examples of other people, what they thought, whether they liked it, whether they didn't, whether they wished they started the game over or not.
Well, so Fowlin's patron deity is Halone, but I've never liked that. That's not my personality type, and I just picked it to try something different back in A Realm Reborn. My first character's patron was Limlane, which I think suits better, but I've had this Fantasia charge I ate like a year ago, and I never changed deities, and now having heard all of the dialogues, I don't feel like I identify with any of them. And so, like, not sure I have much of a reaction to their lines. I'm really happy that they did add the lines, but I have all my crafters and gatherers at max, and Byragot, old beer gut, I think mentioned, like, good on you, bud, for having all your shit max.
Yeah, he does.
That's literally it. Yeah, he just says, well, grats to you for leveling your crafters and gatherers. Heck yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That probably means there's similar changes with the others, unless it's a one-off. Does anybody know? I don't have all my battle content maxed. Is there, like,
no
anything
there's
at all
literally
for having all of your
just
melee or something?
not that I've seen.
Like all your tanks? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but I don't think there is. I
It's
think
just that one.
because he is the god of crafting, that it's
Mhm.
special.
Like one could imagine, like Thaliak, if you've maxed Scholar, Summoner, like all the book classes. Maybe Sage, and you see what I mean?
See, doing that would kind of leave a lot of other classes
It
to be
would,
desired, though.
for sure.
Because I go in as ninja, right?
Yep.
And you look at ninja and you look at the gods, and then you're like, well, who the hell would they support?
Well, that would be a scouting class, which leaves the Wanderer.
But
Maybe.
that's more of a bard thing.
It is. It is. I don't know. It's a thought. So they've got,
It's one of
they've
those
got a few
things.
Easter eggs, which is nice.
Neela, Kovron, Arden, your thoughts?
Pretty much said it.
Yeah.
You were really disappointed.
I wasn't disappointed. I just wasn't expecting a whole lot. I wasn't how to say this. Expectations low, but they were met in that way. There were like a few little quibbles I had, but nothing like, oh, well, I'm going to quit the game because there aren't any darker skinned. Whatever. It's a disappointment, but it's also like there's a certain ethnocentrism, especially in Japanese media, that if you don't have a lot of black people around, you might forget about black people, which not good, but understandable, I would say.
Yep.
So it's like I don't like seeing this, but I'm also not gonna go get the crosses in the fucking fire. Just be like, hey guys, think about it, try to do better in the future.
Well,
That's true.
It's been an issue with all.
I had low expectations, but I'm still disappointed. I feel like weirdly we got more meat out of the Nier quests than we did for Myths of the Realm. And that feels just really wrong.
You can talk to either me or Meowth
That's
about
true.
that. There is a whole nother episode for that.
Yeah. I liked what Beer Bro said. I thought that was cool that if you level up your crafters and gatherers, that he acknowledges that. And I enjoyed that we got to talk to all of the 12. But my patron was Nymea, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay. That's cool that they acknowledge that you're a follower of them, but I feel like you didn't really get anything special out of it.
My patron deity is Menfina, and I kind of want to change that.
You don't like Hatsune Miku?
You don't like
No, well, yes, but not this one.
She was
Oh my
adorable.
god. You're reminding me of some really cursed stuff.
Listen, if we play a JP game, we're bound to get some of this anime stuff in it.
Hell
so.
yeah.
True.
I mean, yes, but also I think I just vibe with Naldthal way better.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Change it. Change it.
Yeah, I'm tempted.
Anyone else have any
Honestly,
thoughts
though,
on it?
I think that's one really cool thing that the raid gave us was some more direct discussion with the gods. Really lets us be like, hey, I think I'm actually going to pick this one instead of, because I literally, when I picked Halonia, I was like, ice cool, war cool, I guess. She uses a spear, I use a spear.
Yeah.
That was the basis of my decision, genuinely. And I grew into it. I learned more about the deities and was like, yeah, that one seems pretty cool. I don't like everything she's about, but and then actually meeting her, I was like, you know what? No, I'm happy with this decision. I like it. I'm satisfied.
Did you spend at least half an hour on character creation like I did?
I spent more than that. You mean when I first started?
Well, I mean, when I first started,
well over an hour, and then I went back in Fantasia later.
Because I did 1.0,
yeah.
but I didn't do it long enough for my name to be in the game. Because it wasn't great. It would not play for me. Period. And I just kind of gave up.
Ugh.
So when I started Realm Reborn again, I was like, okay, I'm really going to focus this time. Because I just kind of, the first time around, I just kind of half-assed it and was like, maybe I'll just change it later if I want to. But the second time around, I really kind of focused and redid my character. And then back during, so I spent maybe like 15 minutes during a Realm Reborn. And then Stormblood, I wanted to really change it around because I love the story of Heaven's Ward. And that's when the story for Ayumi came about. So right before Stormblood, I changed to Ellison, and my backstory for it was just developed over the course of Heaven's Ward. So it all kind of came together at the beginning of Stormblood. Of course, that's when I met Fowl, too.
Mm-hmm. It was indeed. I think Stormblood is underrated.
I agree.
It is.
It has its shortcomings, but people focus on those and fail to acknowledge a lot of the things it did well too, I think.
It hit with my Asian theme, my love of Asian themed media. I was able to catch all the small nuances and hints of culture that were kind of sprinkled around throughout the quests and the scenery. So, do you think that we will see Derek in the world kind of like we do Alpha and Omega?
I can appreciate.
I'll be
that
really
Alpha and
disappointed
Omega,
if we don't.
I would like to see
Same.
more than just seeing him around. That's what I was gonna say. Like I do expect to see
True.
him around, like Alpha and
Yeah.
Omega, but I want him to be involved in the story because if he's an
Let's have little. Sorry.
it's okay. If he's an ex-deity on an adventure, I think that's awesome, and he should probably be part of the team. So Graha 2.0.
It would be fun if he runs into stuff and he's like, "Look, I don't have powers anymore. I can't deal with this, but I know who to call."
Yeah.
I'd just
Exactly.
like to see him just kind of wandering about like Alpha and Omega, just either like looking over cliff sides or talking with merchants or just wandering, doing what he loves best or what he wants to do, just going wherever.
Speaking of
And then
wandering,
just kind of knowing that he's out doing what he wants is that satisfaction with the player too.
Speaking of wandering, I wanted to say, just backtrack a little bit. I really did enjoy the quests where we are on the bridge, talking to him as an individual. I thought that was, it wasn't like tear jerking, but it was heartwarming. Nice to wander outside of Limsa with him. What did you guys think about that?
Can you repeat that? Because my brain
Yes.
just whole ass dumped the question.
It's okay.
I don't know why.
It's all right. We go hang out with Derek a little bit before the raid. Or was it after? Brain, please. Anyway, we go to see,
After.
we go to
It was
talk to him
after
on
the
the
raid.
bridge. It was after. I really enjoyed
That's
those
right, yeah.
scenes. I enjoyed those quests. It wasn't like tear jerking or anything, but I felt it was heartwarming, and I wanted to know how
We
you
dumped
guys
the
felt.
essences off at
It
the
was like,
church, and then we went walking.
that's
again.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It was sort of a pilgrimage type of thing, it felt like. And I like that.
Yeah. Or the start of one, at least.
Now people are going to go in game, fly out to Ashan's mark, and see if he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, don't be ridiculous. I'm not that. I feel like if he visited it, it would be like only to see or speak with worshippers, not to be like, look how cool I was as a god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just doesn't seem his personality.
He's just sitting on the rock, sitting on who he was.
It would be fun. It would actually be, I like that symbolism a lot. Sitting on it to be like, look, this is past, but like if anyone comes up and he sits down and has a conversation with them, oh, tell me about your life, tell me about your travels, what brings you to this spot, you know, that would be cool, honestly.
Out there just fishing.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
that's Bard... what I want to see. I want to see him out in the world.
When is Bard getting the hook move from the boss fight?
Right.
8.0. And that's if you're nice to Yoshi P.
Yeah.
I'll be nice. I'll be nice now.
Sarug says Derek is a bit dangerous for writers because he could be just an exposition machine when the writers want to show instead. Yeah, you know, I guess they'll have to balance it. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of precedent for them like super messing it up, but there is a lot of text in this game for sure.
Yeah, this one's kind of just natural. Exposition is... I have perhaps a less popular opinion on exposition. I think that it's got its place. I think it can be done in a way that's interesting, but I also am inclined toward that sort of thing. So maybe I'm just biased. I'm probably biased.
We're all biased when it comes down to it.
True. And knowing you're biased is the first step to, I guess, dealing with it.
Rug wants us to kind of go over Stormblood sometime.
I'm down for that.
It would be nice to revisit that.
And we can go over all the expansions.
That could be fun. It's been a long time.
Why X expansion is better than you remember.
No.
What?
We'll have a whole episode of us arguing over which expansion's better.
No, I mean like each just go through expansion by expansion. Why ARR is better than you remember, etc.
Yeah, it's a good content.
Good things, yeah. Good thing for the future, yeah.
Although we did just have a discussion. I mean, it seems like we're about done with Thaleia, so I'll posit something. Last night I was speaking to Ayumi about patch cycle woes and the old discussion, lengths of time, and I just wanted to posit that a lot of my opinions on that, I'm careful about not looking at the past with too much of a rose tint because until Bosnia came out, I was severely concerned about Shadowbringer's patch cycle. 5.3 was incredible and I loved it, but there was a gap. Bosnia came out in 5.35, so we had 3 full story patches with very little side content, and you may remember that there was also no new deep dungeon. There was nothing new. So we got Bosnia, and it ended up being amazing, but it took a long time for that to arrive, and I was in a similar state during that period of time as I was, say, 5 months ago with Endwalker.
I think 5.3 didn't 5.3 launch with the first Bosnia?
I looked it up. 5.35.
3.5. So that was a month later.
Yeah. Ish. Yeah.
And here is where I kind of go yin and yang about it. COVID hit. It delayed 5.3 almost 6 months.
Yep.
In that time, we got various updates and news press releases from Square Enix and Yoshi P saying, yes, it's working. Production is still going, but it's delayed. We're slowly getting there. We were about 65-75% of the way through before we had to stop everything. And the amount of time, even the amount of time that it took for the patch to release, we had a sense of doubt. We had a sense of, is this game still going to continue? Is it going to survive with all of this? when 5.3 hit, it was so well polished and so well thought out and told. It could have ended right there. Like, the game could have ended right there, and I would have
Yeah.
clapped and cheered.
Agreed.
It was so good. Now, 5.4 and 5.5, they weren't as good as 5.3. I don't think there will be another patch ever as good as 5.3 was. But 5.4 and 5.5, I looked forward to the next one and the one after, because we wanted to. We had that new villain, Van Daniel. We wanted to see that plot come out. We wanted to know what these final days held. We wanted to know what all is going on. Like, there was that sense of mystery and, oh shit, we don't know what he's capable of. Where are the others? There's so many unknowns. What are these towers? So on and so on. Endwalker drops. That was delayed also. We get our conclusion, but it's not the conclusion that we like. We're hit with a bit of nostalgia throughout the expansion, which is nice. But as I told Fao during our conversation, you can't carry an expansion on nostalgia and fan service alone.
Fully agree. I wonder if you kind of agree with what Rug said here. The difference with this patch cycle was that MSQ wasn't very thought-provoking or inspiring. I tried to be excited about it multiple times, but I failed. Meaning,
And I agree
in
with
essence, that the
Yeah.
quality of Shadowbringers allowed
The
you to deal
quality
with
of
the patch cycle
Shadowbringers
better.
was on par with that of a AAA game
Yeah, I would
or
say it's
a
unmatched.
well-polished movie or well-thought-out story. Extremely well-thought-out story. Endwalker 6.0 was a conclusion to that. And 6.1, 6.2, and the following were trying to set up new plot points. But, as I said to Fao earlier as well, they started resolving these new plot points almost as quickly as they made them.
Yeah, that was jarring.
So they would
Yeah.
set up the Void questline. Oh boy, a Void questline. This is going to cover, all the way into the next expansion. It took 4.5 patches for them to cover a Void expansion or a Void storyline that should have been a full expansion.
I mean, to be fair with that, they've been building up the Void since ARR.
But they've kept it in the back. We've always had this, we have a
To go there
void
and
set
then have it
problem.
resolved.
Right.
In my
yeah,
opinion.
but we always have this, we have a void set problem in the back. But we've never really, you know what, maybe we should take care of that while that's on the back burner.
Yeah, I do feel like the 13th deserves its own full zone treatment, for sure.
Yeah, what we got was just an empty zone.
No, I
two
mean,
empty zones.
I mean, like, going around MSQ, a full zone treatment. I don't... as a shard of the source.
Always accessible, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And instead we get the culling of Stratholme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a funny reference. Durante is blonde. He has a sword, and
Straight up Arthas, yep.
everybody's being turned into
demons, yeah.
Into demons. So
see, that's literally what I thought. Just like, oh, we're just being popped into this town, this burning town. Everyone's turning into these zombie mindless things. Well, this is just Arthas. We're us following around Arthas again. Another thing too, kind of went over this last night with Fao as well too. And I'm just going to sound like a broken record at this point, just because I've been playing other games besides 14, so I'm just kind of trying to not feel the burnout. I've been noticing a lot of things playing other games, and that 14 has taken a lot of inspiration from other games, and especially early on in its development. In fact, one of the things I noticed, I was playing Mists of Pandaria the other night, and the storyline has to do with this
this thing called Sha. What Sha is, according to the storyline, is a transformation set in motion by negative feelings. And Pandaria was released before 14 was brought to what was released, before the original 1.0 was released. So I just thought, man, did they just take the Shaw reference and just put it there? Or were they trying to create something new and it just happened? The coincidence just happened.
In short,
Because
Dynamis is Shaw energy, and if
it is.
it had come out within 2 years of Mists of Pandaria, would the community had an uproar? And because there was such a gap, maybe
I think with the view of WoW is bad, don't look at it when you have 14, it kind of shielded that. But I just happened to notice it the other night.
Oh,
that
we should note also, because people may not play that game, the Shaw transformations are also black shadow demons.
They are. When you kill them, they leave kind of a residue behind, though, so they don't like disappear. But the residue behind can still corrupt. The Shaw is basically the black blood of an old god named Isarge.
You know, a lot of this is playing with archetypes, and you wonder how much of it is just kind of what's in the air in gaming development, rather than, oh, let's copy this 6-year-old Warcraft expansion. I can't see them doing that in a boardroom. Like, what if we took Pandaria and made Endwalker? I don't think that's what happened, but...
No, I think that... And I want to be as nice as possible to 14, because
please be charitable.
It is such a great game, but it draws so much inspiration from other games, including itself, including the Final Fantasy games itself, that it's not its own game anymore. It's what people describe it as a theme park. It is a theme park, basically. You're drawing so much inspiration and so much fan service from other games, you're losing sight of the original story, and now you're having to write your story around all of these fan service. That's just my thoughts anyways.
Which means that they don't have inspiration.
No. Early on, we had that in The Realm Reborn and Heavensward, and Stormblood. Well, I guess it would be most apparent as Shadowbringers kind of went on. The later Shadowbringers patches went on, we started to see more and more references to earlier games, and then they started to write in a lot of familiar characters, backgrounds, stories directly into the MSQ, not just as side content where it's, that's 14's version of this. We don't have to think of that as canon. Of course, now there's Endwalker, and it's like, oh, we now have this one to tie into the MSQ. This is real. This is real. This is this. So
it's now necessarily canon.
It is. And now I feel like they've kind of written themselves into a corner here.
Well, that's why they just need to take a departure completely and go in a new direction.
Maybe Dawn Trail will have some of that. I mean, it is a break.
I hope so. I really do.
It is a break from the mold, and
because I mean, let's be honest. Did you guys, when you initially watched that trailer from FanFest Las Vegas, were you as excited for the game as you did for Shadowbringers, or Stormblood, or Heavensward?
Shadowbringers was pretty much my peak excitement.
It's Shadowbringers and Endwalker were my peak excitement. I was pretty on par with excitement for like Heavensward and Stormblood.
You didn't
this will be interesting.
You didn't kind of jump up in your seat and go, "Oh, I can't wait!" You just your thoughts in your head just started turning like gears, right?
Well, unfortunately,
I felt that way about Heavensward. I was very hyped about the gameplay trailer with the 50 odd adventurers and then ending up in what we learned later was the Churning Mists. That trailer was so hype.
And that's what I mean. Dawn Trail didn't evoke that in me. It's we sailed to an island, we're fighting again, but there's no real
Like, I'm interested.
I'm interested. I
But
view
I'm
it as
not-
a reset.
I'm not at the corkboard stringing up the yarn, you know?
Neela, are you like me
it is
that
like I'm watching an anime beach episode. Like
Not to me. Ayumi, I feel more like it's a Realm Reborn again. I feel like it's a reset, and that's my hype level. Like, I'm excited to play it. It's going to be a cool game. I don't have any expectations of story or plot that are really going to throw a wrench in my experience when it comes out. My hype levels are average, but it's a game I'm definitely playing and buying.
Same, Rue. Same. I'm still going to get the collectors.
I'm interested to see where it goes.
We'll see how Dawn Trail keeps my interest.
Yeah, we do still have one more
Indeed.
FanFest to look at. Rug says, I don't think I will play it at launch. JP FanFest could still hype me. I'm definitely playing it at launch. I'm not missing launch for anything. I hope they launch it better.
I'll be getting the collectors.
I won't be doing collectors.
Same.
But I will definitely be playing at launch, and I hope to God they fix the damn launches, because there's no reason I should be queued up 4 hours ahead.
I
do have
loved
to
it.
say, though,
while at work.
I haven't been super thrilled with the collector sets since like Stormblood, honestly.
Yeah.
I love launch experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love Browbon EX. I did love Shadowbringers. They smoothed that out tremendously. Endwalker, despite its queue times and queue drops, I had a lot of fun with that weekend because I pulled all-nighters. Haven't done that since 2005, 2006 at LAN parties.
Yeah, it should be a good situation. I'm hoping for the best, and I don't have any negative expectations. I do hope that they fix the queue problems.
Yep.
And with the data center spreads and the new equipment, it's possible that they've resolved it. I don't know. And silver linings. I know that there's been a pretty large exodus from 14 recently, the last year and a half or so, but there's still a ton of people playing. But maybe the amount of people who left will also reduce the pressure on the servers.
Yes.
Not that I want anyone to leave, but it's, like I said, silver linings.
Well, also, and with the recent announcements at a certain conference that I won't even deign to mention, I think there will be a lot of people will either playing both games or take a break from 14 and go play other game. Which I intend to play that said game as well.
I'll probably play said game at launch also. Might be the first time where I'm intentionally subbed to 2 titles in a few years. That's not a bad thing.
Yes.
Not at all.
That's why I'm subbed to 14 and to 11 right now.
That shouldn't even
That's
be
why I'm subbed to
thing,
Baldur's
Arden.
Gate 3. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a thing. Joint sub when?
Right.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's really funny to me is like just going off of sheer content, like comparisons. It's almost like 11 should be the sub game and 14 shouldn't be. Just going off of how much there is to do in both games individually.
Yeah.
For the little time I did play 11, I agree. There's a ton of shit to do just character-wise in 11. Like,
Yeah, that's why
personal growth-wise.
I really like it. It's a sandbox game instead of a theme park, which is why I dig it more than 14 most of the time.
Yep.
I am having fun with the new Criterion dungeon in 14, though.
By the way, can I ask you comparative difficulty?
Between the
all three
Criterions?
Not Savage, just Criterion, so the regular what I would call savage
Um,
format.
I'm gonna say it kind of depends on how you are with spatial reasoning and like geometry.
This is an interesting discussion we had a few weeks ago, Arden, about prog and how some kinds of mechanics are harder for different brains.
Yes.
And like color recognition, I think was part of your discussion. For me, I was progging P9 last night and also last Saturday, and I am having the worst time with numerical balls above heads. I cannot do
Oh,
this.
limit cut shit.
What?
Limit cut
Yeah,
shit
limit cut.
is big brain, and I am not. My brain does not have enough wrinkles for it right now.
I've done a few limit cut strats, and every time I hear limit cut in a new fight, I'm like, oh shit, here we go again.
I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Now, if I could just practice limit cut without the
P9S
prog,
limit-
you know, I'm sure I could get it. But doing the fight, which is not too hard to that point, and then you just get hit with this brick to the face. So.
Yeah. Limit cuts are one of those things where the more you do different kinds of limit cuts in the game, the better you get at limit cuts overall. But
True.
I've come across a handful of like actual statics that are still on P9S in their group right now because of the first limit cut in it.
That sucks, but I can understand that.
Yeah.
That's kind of my sense of it as well. I'd asked a raider friend of mine to compare like Cruise Chaser limit cut versus frankly T and then P9, and he said that P9's the easiest, but I think having practice at all on that mechanic type would put you ahead.
Yeah. Because there were other limit cuts in the previous tiers for Pandemonium too, so doing the previous tiers definitely just kind of gets you practice with that. I will also say that it kind of depends on what strategy you're stuck doing too, because there's, unless it's changed, there's like two main strategies for P9S limit
Yeah.
cut. Because
Pro
some
tip,
people like the
if
Mario
you're still on
Kart
it, you can
version.
switch.
Yeah. Like some people like the Mario Kart version. Personally, I like it where you do the entire mechanic on one axis of the arena.
Same. That would be better than flipping it, but we're trying this JP strat thing. I don't know the different strategies, but that's the one we're using.
I think that is the
That's-
one axis of the arena, but I'll check.
By one axis, do you mean the
They
arena
like to
doesn't
name
flip?
things all very similarly, so you never fucking know.
Yeah. So in the strat, the arena, the way you orient your players flips on a 180 degree. But that's just because where the explosions are, I think. Well, anyway.
But as far as like Criterion goes, I would say that personally I find Another Sylvan Subterrane to be the easiest of the three.
Mm-hmm.
But that's partially because when I'm playing tank and they put any kind of spinning mechanic in a fight and it doesn't have like the circling arrows around you know, yourself or the mob or the object, and instead they do like some other kind of indicator, it is so hard for me to flip it based on where I'm standing on the boss. Like if I was a, you know, a melee or a healer, I'd be able to just reason it based off of being behind the boss. But since
Right.
I'm in front of the boss, my brain's just like, nope.
Brains are interesting, man.
I have gotten 2 mounts so far out of the new one.
Oh, cool.
Someday I'll get around to going back to those. I just haven't had the time.
We detoured heavily.
On-
It's okay. We
That-
didn't have a
We
lot to
did.
discuss
normal
on
for us.
Thaleia, so we're off. We're just off talking. So we didn't celebrate this new background that Koberon designed.
Oh, yeah,
How dare we?
Thank you, Koberon.
it's fine.
It's awesome.
We're
Actually,
going on summer vacation.
I was worried about being seasick when I first saw it, but
Vacay.
because it rocks. But turns out it rocks. So.
Boo.
Boo.
Ah,
I mean, I can always just make the camera rock.
Why'd you
No.
boo him?
No.
Why'd you boo him? He's a dad. He gets his dad jokes.
Just one a day.
We take those.
Just one a day.
Only one.
Well, any final thoughts on Thaleia?
Well, actually, Rug has some questions. Hit us.
but not
don't
too hard,
hit
okay?
us.
You can hit me though. I mean, what?
Eyebrow raise.
Oh, whoa.
Waggle, waggle.
Didn't Derek state that he didn't chat with any mortals before us? How is he meant to take on man's solitude? He seems to be hogging it all. So, the students of Baldesion seem to be very friendly with Derek. Doesn't that conflict with the notion that he didn't chat with any mortals before us?
Yeah, I think that's kind of bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem very consistent, yeah.
Consistency is not one of their strong points this expansion.
Yeah, unfortunately it does happen.
I mean, maybe it's just in this kind of lifetime of Derek is the first time he's approached mortals. It doesn't mean like he literally met his first mortal last week. Right? Any other questions, Rug? All right. Sorry about that. So, anybody, do we have plans this week, games wise? What are people up to? And then we'll close up the stream. What are people
I may
doing?
have gotten myself embroiled into just a little project after
Oh.
learning, realizing, and looking into the fact that you can make choose your own adventure stories or fanfics in programs that, like, you click a link, go to the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I know just enough programming that I am now days into what would be a very long project. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm learning more programming. Always useful.
Nothing quite like a new project. I know that well.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck. Yours is much more complicated.
Yeah, for me, it'll probably be playing games other than 14, like World of Warcraft or Monster Hunter Rise. some of my other Steam games that I have.
Some 14 for me because I'm still working on getting through the 100 coin grind for Criterion, and then after getting to 100 coins, we're gonna do Savage of this and Mount Rokon, I think.
So you were
Nice.
definitely playing games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then I'm still doing a bunch of end-game progress on Final Fantasy XI. I picked up my time at Sandrock for something more chill to do. Thinking about diving back into Palia and seeing how the state of that game is right now.
Cobb, what are you up to? Anything fun?
As for me, I'm mostly just working on projects that are not game related.
Understood. All right. Well, I suppose we'll close up the stream. Thank you to everyone who was here today. And sorry for the issues early on, but that's on brand for us. So
It is.
anyway, I guess have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.
Thanks so much for coming out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.